Hi, Mark. It's Morgan, SoCal Atheist. I'm responding to your questions in regards to how social behaviors evolve in animals. Well, first of all, realize when I'm talking about social behaviors in animals, I'm not talking just about one animal. I'm talking about how they would evolve throughout different groups, and there are different evolutionary lines that social behaviors can take. To give you an example, humans are derived from social animals. We didn't develop socialism just ourselves. It wasn't like you had one human here and one human there come together and form a social group. No, our social heritage goes back at least 7 million years, perhaps even as far as 20 million years. Now, we see this by examining archaeological evidence, and you see family groups. The Laetoli footprints, for example, show at least pairs of a small group of a pair of animals were socially interacting and walking side by side, at least 3 some odd million years ago for certain. But other than that, we also look at other animals. Chimpanzees are social animals. Baboons, gorillas, lions, meerkats, vampire bats, blind mole rats, termites. So social behaviors exist throughout the animal world. In fact, you're asking how social behavior comes about. When it comes to evolutionary fitness, it's the ability of an organism or small group of organisms to contribute to the next generation genetically. That means you have to reproduce. Survival doesn't matter as much as reproducing under evolutionary sense. Obviously, if you don't reproduce, your genes don't get moved on. It doesn't matter how long you live. Certain behaviors do increase or decrease this fitness. Behaviors that include commensalism, animals working together, either of the same species or different species, can increase fitness for both species, or at least one in the case of parasitism. There we see an interaction of organisms, and that interaction is a social interaction. And because those social interactions can increase the fitness of one organism or both, you're going to see those social interactions being selected for by natural selection to be retained in the population. This is how social behaviors and social groups come about. Behaviors between organisms, let's say in this case a single species, behaviors that work together between the individuals of the species to improve the fitness of those individuals of that species, will be passed on to the future lineages, and those lineages will have a tendency to repeat those behaviors. The same has happened in human history and human heritage. There are certain behaviors that have a negative impact on fitness. Those behaviors have been reduced in the population considerably. Stealing from one's neighbor reduces the fitness of your neighbor, and will eventually reduce your fitness because of, you could be attacked by your neighbor, killed before you can reproduce. So things like theft, stealing, has become something that we feel is wrong because it reduces the fitness of the population. While, on the other hand, helping out your neighbor and being reciprocated is an example of a social behavior that will lead to an increase in fitness, because both individuals of that species will tend to leave more offspring, and hence the behaviors that they have will tend to be the behaviors that their offspring have. This is how social behaviors exist. The truth is, nearly all species on this planet are interrelated with another species or members of their own species in a social relationship. period. Humans have prokaryotic bacteria in and on our bodies, roughly 1,000 times, give or take, the number of human cells that we have. We are indeed more prokaryotic cell than we are eukaryotic cell in our body. We need those bacteria. They help protect us from harmful bacteria. They help us digest our food. They help keep our skin healthy. This is a social This is a social interaction. Of course, this is, at a level that we don't usually need to, think about, but it's still there. And we see those social interactions in almost all organisms. There are very few organisms out there that do not interact socially with other organisms. Most of those social interactions, again, are driven by the genes and by these behaviors, not specifically by thinking about it. And that has to do with the level of complexity and emergent properties of the system. Now, you call my language pseudoscientific. This isn't pseudoscience. This is exactly what scientists are dealing with today when they're talking about evolution. This is real science. Pseudoscience would be like intelligent design is a pseudoscience. Creationism is a pseudoscience. Astrology is a pseudoscience. But what I'm talking about is evolutionary biology and evolutionary behavioral biology. These are real things. You can actually research many of these ideas in peer-reviewed papers throughout the web. Sadly, of course, you have to pay for membership to most of these peer-reviewed journals, but if you have to, you have to. Because they do need to make money, otherwise they wouldn't be around. So I hope that answers some of your questions. And if you have any others, please just post a response. I generally leave my responses open. Occasionally I forget to click that mark to open responses without me viewing them first. If that's the case, I'll always allow it. It was just an oversight. Okay, I'm going to take off for this one. Bye.